Hey guys, welcome to the Hanger Management Podcast. I'm Jac.
And I'm Danielle, and we are pumped that you're here because today we shall be talking about hormones. We're going to touch on different things about hormones, but it's a really great night to talk about this because Jacqueline's hormones are fucked. Laughing. She just almost had a mental breakdown, so it's like not actually funny.
Before I cry and or lose my shit, as per usual, before we dive into the episode and lose our shit, a couple housekeeping things. As you've already heard, if you've listened this far, we swear like shit, like fuck, as fuck, we swear a lot. So this isn't a kid-friendly show. It's a little late for that announcement, but y'all know. Number two, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Hanger Management Pod and our personal IGs. And lastly, just as a reminder, we are operating remotely. Shout out to Opulence Media Group for getting us set up. Thanks, guys. Shout out to, you know what? Let's just shout out to TJ, our producer, for being for
dealing with us. For dealing with our shit every single week, though, and like numerous times
special. This week's extra special, because I'm hormonal. All right.
Our hormones.
Yeah, let's get into this. What are hormones is right. Do you want to take this, or do you want me to run with it?
I mean, you can run with it, and I'll chirp in.
I love it. So hormones, I feel like everyone knows the word, everyone like has heard of hormones. Like, you know, the biggest thing I think is like, you know, going through puberty. I have to stop saying like, I'm going to try so hard not to do it.
Okay. We need a little zapper and I can just tase you.
I wish I had one, like a little like, yeah. Anyway, so I feel, okay, when I say like in a sentence, you know, I feel like that's okay. But
yeah,
if I say it too much,
it's just when you use it.
And you can like zap me.
Okay.
So I feel that most people are introduced to hormones or being hormonal. The first thing is like going through puberty, right? Like going through puberty, it's like, oh, hormones are raging, like little boys and like little girls going through puberty. That's like the first like introduction to hormones, right? And then for women, it's getting into, you know, using birth control. That's another hormone replacement, you know, time in your life. And then as we discussed last week, you know, as women age, getting into menopause, that's another transition. Pregnancy is another transition through hormones for women, right? There's a lot of, I guess, what would you say, like life stages?
Where your hormones will fluctuate. So like we all have said hormones in our body.
Let's talk generally. What's the endocrine, like hormones and the endocrine system? Like you went to school for like this kind of stuff. So
I know it was like one chapter on the endocrine system. And I'm like trying to dig deep in my brain, but I was like trying to like in layman terms, like
the endocrine system is your hormonal system, I guess.
Yeah. So it's like chemical messengers that kind of travel through the bloodstream and tell your body how to feel, like affect your mood, your function, your metabolism. Just kind of all that. So we all have like, there's so many hormones in the body, right? I mean, I'm trying to think.
Cortisol, adrenaline, estrogen, glucagon, insulin is
all hormones.
Melatonin.
Insulin.
These are all hormones that every healthy human body produces, and that, like Danielle said, contribute to the regulation and function of a human body. And so there's a bunch of different ones. They all come from essentially different glands, and help us regulate certain functions of the body.
And so, as we said before, like there's going to be times in your life, like those times that Jacqueline just said, where your hormones are going to be out of whack, or however you
Out
want to
of whack
call it.
is such a good, I feel like
I
that's
love
like
that.
that's like the go-to way to describe
Out of whack today.
Like, is that how your mom used to, that's how my
I
mom
think
used to
so.
say, that's how my mom used to describe, she'd be like, your hormones are all out of whack. When
You're
I was
so
acting
right. That's
a
like
psycho bitch. Like, she'd be like, your hormones are out of whack.
it's like the nice way to say that, like, you're acting like a psychopath today.
So as women, I feel that women get to experience and or witness, I guess experience would be a better word, our hormonal fluctuations.
Yeah.
For most women, these are normal. It's part of our cycle.
Yeah.
You know, like our periods, right? They as we go, like women live on a cycle, right? And I think that's pretty fair to say we do live on a cycle. And our hormones change during that cycle.
Like if you tested your hormone levels at different parts of your cycle, they would be different depending on if you're ovulating, you know, if you're menstruating, all those things kind of affect. And then of course we'll get into cortisol levels. If you're stressed, then your cortisol will measure high. Just basically all out of whack.
It's all out of whack. So hormones are, I mean, I think it's something we all have. It's one of these, like, hormones are just like it's something we all have to deal with. But okay, so let's get into then. Okay. So okay, before we get into like the shit, hormones, the endocrine system then can be imbalanced. There are conditions and disorders and imbalances in hormone levels for different people, right? Especially for, you know, I think one of the biggest ones, I think one of the easiest ones to describe would be like diabetes, right? Yeah. So diabetes is one of the, I'm trying so hard not to say diabetes. I lived in the South for a really I lived in the South for a while, so I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but every time I say the word, it's just not
say it like that this whole episode.
That's how it's pronounced. That's how it's pronounced in the South. So sometimes I say diabetes, but diabetes is that is a condition that actually impacts your endocrine system, and you have an imbalance of insulin in your body. So your body does not produce the insulin it needs to process sugar. That's one of, I think, the most basic, everybody knows.
Yeah, everyone has kind of an idea of diabetes and what it and is. How it involves insulin.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the most, like I said, the most well known.
Yeah.
Disorder.
Mainstream. Yeah.
Right. So there are conditions that make certain people need hormone therapy or hormone replacement. Another one that a lot of people have is like hypothyroidism, or Cushing's, right? These are examples of actual conditions, medical conditions, diagnosed conditions that require hormone therapy and treatment. Now, let's get into the shit show that is the fitness industry that has taken hormone imbalance and started creating hormone.
I love that.
I feel like I'm Dr. Evil right now. Hormone hacks, right?
Yeah.
This is what has happened, right? This is basically what's happened, is that people, fitness influencers, people who are trying to make a buck, again, off of easy ways to lose weight, saying that you need to train a certain way, eat a certain way, do random supplement like approaches to help
of your hormones.
Because of your hormones.
And that's just the blanket statement, because of your hormones. I'm like, well, what about my hormones?
It's so
We
true.
all have them.
It's so true.
No,
It's so
nobody
true.
gets into that, right? They just say, yeah, you
Your
should be eating a
hormones.
lower carb diet because of your hormones. I'm like, but my insulin hormone would love those carbohydrates. Snatch them. Anyways, I think there's just not a lot of education. I think it's like another, like you said, one of those mainstream things that people say, and it's like, oh, you're not losing weight. Oh, well, it's, it could just be hormones. And that's literally how they say it.
That's literally exactly what I've heard. Like,
and
that
I'm like, yeah, hormones.
I've heard it from coaches, influencers, like medical professionals, as we found in our research.
Yeah.
We have found, I mean, there's just a lot of people that fall back on hormones. It's your hormones to explain why you're not losing weight and sell you some shit to deal with.
The supplements. Sell the supplements.
There's almost
you're over 50. Oh, I'm sorry to name drop, but you're over 50. Oh, well, my Plexus product sells things that just really help people over the age of 50.
Plexus. No, don't tell me what Plexus is. It's probably one of those MLMs that I don't want to know about.
Of course it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Okay. So don't tell me.
You can't just go to the supplement store like to get an actual, you have to go through an MLM. It's the only way to fix your hormone imbalance.
Because those are the best products. The MLM that is selling you some random shit, that's the best version of that product on the market. Guaranteed. Because Susan down the road tried it and your best friend from high school's on it. And
we always pick on Susan. It's always Susan.
I should really start using the term Karen, because Karen, like, everyone knows what a Karen is.
No, I love it. You do not comply. You just use Susan. I love it.
I actually have a Susan in my life who is the sweetest lady, and God bless. She doesn't listen to this, but no, if you're a Susan, I love, like, God bless. Like,
we love Susans. For
like,
some reason, it's just rolling off the tongue.
Yeah, it just flows. I actually think it was from like a meme I read like 2 years ago about a Susan. Ever since then, I just say Susan every time I have like some sort of issue.
Yeah. No,
anyway,
I love that.
But yeah, this
like if you're not losing weight and you want to pull the hormone card, I just think you need to get tested, and then you can pull it all you would like.
We
need to you just need to be you just need to be tested.
If you yes, like, without a doubt, if you think you have a hormonal imbalance, go get blood work done. Go get blood work, go get all the tests done. There's saliva tests apparently that are better than the blood work, whatever.
Yes.
Get your tests done so that you can actually establish if your hormone levels are out of whack. Because guess what? Those tests will tell you whether you're out of whack or not, whether your hormone levels are appropriate for you or if they are truly not right. And so I can count on one hand the number of times this has happened to me as a coach, where a client wasn't losing weight and actually had a hormonal imbalance. Twice, it was a thyroid issue, cancer, and literally they had thyroid cancer and had to have their thyroid removed. Like, I know this is dead serious. And then other times they've gone and gotten tested and have found they have hypothyroidism or a low functioning thyroid. So these were actually found where they discovered that they were not producing proper hormone levels. And that is the only time I, as a coach, have ever actually dealt with a client not making progress and having to deal with actual hormone issues. And guess what? I worked with their doctors and healthcare professionals to treat that hormone deficiency or imbalance with proper hormone therapy, not
a supplement.
Oh my God, not these
company.
Random fucking supplements that these people are like saying, oh, this is like a hormone support. There's literally There's literally products out there that say hormone support on them. Which hormone? What all hormones?
Insulin?
Is it birth control? No? Is it the morning after pill? No? Okay. No, listen. It's so rare to actually have hormone issues. And if you have it, go get tested, like Danielle said, and deal with it properly through a medical professional, not some random.
Because that's where you're going to get your answers, right? And if it's done properly, it'll probably be like a couple like from the so we did a little bit of research before this podcast, and like we may as well talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Interesting. So when I say a little bit of research, I mean like I tried to find this is a doctor.
No, functional medicine. Love that term. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with functional medicine. I know that. It's just that a lot of people who claim functional medicine are also selling whack job shit. So I didn't even make it through the whole way through her podcast, quite frankly.
I didn't quite make it to the end.
As soon as she told me,
I started laughing.
Your blood type, you have to work out. How you train depends on your blood type. I was like, I'm out.
I listened a little bit further because I was like, let's hear if she has stuff to back this up. So basically we listened to a podcast and it started out really neat. Actually, it was just talking about the different ways to super neat. I have a little bit of a lisp because I have my Invisalign in. Just bear with me. Anyways, it sounded super neat to begin with. You know, it was talking about the different ways to get tested. It made sense. She was saying, you know, depending on where you're at in your cycle too, you might have to test a couple different times because your hormones are going to be different depending on the time of day, etc. So I was like, that's fair. So hopefully if you are seeking this type of testing, it's like done properly. That's all I have to say about that. And then she got into just the different blood types. So for example, I'm an O blood type. So what she was saying was, and I just obviously only listened to the O. Actually, I think she said that the A type is more like yoga and like Pilates. I just couldn't even I couldn't listen, right? Because I was like, excuse me, is this girl literally?
Can only do yoga and Pilates.
So my sister's an A and she's never done yoga in her life and she would rather not.
Oh my God, imagine Jordan trying yoga. Imagine, I can just picture Jordan in one of my yoga classes. She'd be like,
she might have tried it once and was like, meh.
I don't think she came to one of mine. Oh, she tried yoga. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if she came to one with me, but anyways, and then it was saying, O's like Olympic lifters and they like lift heavy, and like I'm an O and like I just started lifting heavy and I fucking hate it. Like I do it, but I hate it. And it also said, she also said, if you have an autoimmune disorder, so for example, lupus, we can classify like a thyroid issue as like autoimmune, you know, Crohn's, colitis, those bowel disorders, that you are never ever, and she was bold when she said this, never ever are to lift heavy ever, because that will inflame your condition. I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's shit that will inflame your condition, because if it's a bowel condition, you probably can't eat certain foods and that's going to inflame it. I'm pretty sure
there's like
heavy has nothing to do with your bowel.
Well, there's many professional athletes. Let's just talk about this. Many professional athletes with Crohn's and like these issues, like autoimmune disorders. So the fact that she was so bold to say that, hey, if you have one of those,
you can never lift heavy. You must lift light.
Don't do anything. Just pick up the little baby weights, okay?
And that was like, and when I searched hormones for weight loss, that was the number one suggestion, and that terrified me.
Yeah. So that's the biggest issue, right? Like I guess this is the issue right here, is that people who are trying to make a buck, fitness influencers, doctors, whoever, people in the industry trying to make a buck off of people who can't or are struggling to lose weight, and they say, oh, it's because of your hormones. Like, I have no problem just saying this aggressively and bluntly right now, for 99% of people, it's because you can't fucking eat right. Okay? Eat better.
Which is also because there's
and
no
move your
education or
body
support
more.
on that.
Eat better and move your body more. You don't have to like go buy supplement XYZ. You don't have to go like, you don't have to go start this random fucking hormone support regimen or hormone workout or any of these hormone fucking hacks. Okay. If something says hack, run away. It's not right. Okay. And it's not going to help you. That's it's marketing. So all of these like little things that people say like, oh, you need this and this and this. If you truly, like Danielle said, if you truly feel you have a hormone imbalance, go get tested.
Yeah. And then deal with it from there. And you'll have, a whole new thing. But I just find like we just dance around the common fix for most things in life, which is like you said, move your body and eat nutritious food. It's everyone's dancing around that. It's like the last thing that anyone ever wants to do. And I just
100%. Eat well, move your body, and sleep. Eat well, sleep, move your body, drink water, like literally. And I feel like so people just don't want to hear that. And they say, oh, it's because of this, this, and this. And I would even go so far as to say, if you do have like high cortisol levels or, even like your adrenaline is a little like is high, any of these things if they're off, are usually due to your habits. If you have high cortisol, you are living a stress. More often than not, it's not it's not like adrenal fatigue. Everyone says that, right? Like adrenal fatigue. I have adrenal fatigue, or I have this and I have that. Like more often than not, the answer is sleep more.
Yeah.
Drink more water. Eat more green vegetables. Go for a walk. That is more often than not the best treatment for hormone imbalance.
Yeah. And so what do you have to say to, what would you say to the age group of like 50 and over that are now struggling to lose weight?
Great question. I love this.
Like it's a great question.
Yeah, because I actually train a lot of women who have gone through menopause. I've trained women through their transition. I've worked with women before, during, and after. And it's really, so there's really only two ways, right? You can either do hormone replacement therapy, which is as you go through menopause, your body stops producing certain hormones that allow you to have babies. And a lot of women opt to do hormone replacement therapy, which essentially tricks your body into thinking it's not
It's
gone
still,
through.
it
Not
still
gone
has
through.
those levels.
It has all of those hormones, which essentially, I guess, on the surface, or just like, plain language, means not a whole lot changes for you, how you feel, and in terms of like weight loss and that kind of thing. Or you can go au natural through menopause. And I will say,
it's a ride.
I witnessed it. It's a ride. It's a fucking roller coaster, man. So that when women do go through, these changes in their life, these transitions, I mean, you experienced it with pregnancy, but we can talk about that if you want to after, but going through menopause, your hormone levels do change. And, it's up if you have the option. I mean, we're 2021, man. If you want to do hormone replacement therapy, you can.
And
but
you would do that with a medical professional,
with your doctor, doctor. You will talk to your general practitioner.
Please go to your phishician,
and they will help you
through the process.
Through that. And maybe you want to, a lot of what I see a lot of women doing is, as they approach menopause, they start doing a little bit of hormone replacement therapy and then wean off of it.
Yeah.
And it's totally individual choice, right? So and I see a lot of women who just go au natural and deal with the, you know, the reduced hormones in their body, and it's tough, right? Because they end up oftentimes gaining weight or struggling to lose weight. In those
hot flashes, mood swings.
Oh my God, yeah,
night
so,
sweats.
yeah, and
it's awful.
these are very real things that hormones.
Yeah.
This is because of hormones or
yeah.
like lack of hormones that your body is experiencing. So, that to me is something fully individual, and you know, every woman should make that choice for themselves. But menopause and pregnancy and puberty. Those are 3 stages of a woman's life where your hormones really are changing. But that's supposed to happen, right? Like,
I know. And I feel like nobody has the answer really for how you're going to feel best. Like, I find a lot of people in that age group, you know, and I can't imagine honestly what it's like going through those changes when we do face those changes, because you're used to whatever you did works, or you're used to feeling a certain way. And it's got to be hard to age anyways mentally, right? Because it's hard to have like, and arguably a regression in certain things that you could do, but I just find you have to be easy on yourself. Like, this is life, and like
grace. Yeah.
There's almost a point where you have to accept that it's not always going to be the same. Now, some people genetically, it will be fine, whether it's weight loss, muscle gain after that time, but not everybody's the same. And I just find it's hard talking to people sometimes who are, it's hard to, like, you never want to insult somebody.
How do you tell a 50-year-old woman, hey, you're 50 years old, you're not a 20-year-old, your body's not going to respond the same? I do it just like that. And my clients, I like all my clients who I've had this conversation with, hey ladies, I love you. You all know that I'm going to give it to you straight, right? And it's just, that's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
You go through menopause, you know, like I said, I've worked with women through their menopause, and it's or through that transition. And it's really, really hard, because it's like, okay, well, what was working 2 years ago is not going to work now.
Yeah.
It's not going to work the same. So we have to adjust and tweak. And like you said, give yourself some fucking grace.
Like, yeah, like your body's like, you think you're going through it, like your body's going through it. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'm just like, don't be so friggin' hard on your like poor body that's like getting you through this time. Like, think of all the changes your body's going through, and now you want to put the stress of weight loss and looking a certain way and fitting a certain standard. Like, I just find that's also the problem with social media too, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
There's so much comparing.
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know why I've been so, I guess, aware this week, but there's just been, it's, you know, we all chase this, and it's even like, I guess maybe for me, because I've like recently considered getting Botox, like I've never had anything, but I've recently, you know, I'm getting into my 30s, up in my, you know, and I have started considering like, okay, well, what do I want to do? How do I want to age? Like, do I want to do this? And it's, I mean, even with like, I have gray hairs now, as you know, and I haven't dyed it yet. And I just like, it's one of these things where it's like, social media holds so much power, because it shows you all these women who are, you know, aging a certain way, and they're being praised for it. And then, you know, it's like, well, I should I do that? You know, when it's this pressure.
And it's like this constant reminder that like everything is not as it seems on social media. There's filters. These people are angling. Some of them are probably shooting some hormones in their body, arguably.
Well, like, that's what I'm saying is like, we just talked about hormone replacement therapy. Like, any woman who's gone through menopause can go to her general practitioner and ask for hormone replacement therapy. So if someone is on that, I feel like everyone's going to like rush to their doctor and ask for hey,
I should state that in
Jac Dan said you'll lose weight. No.
But it also, hormone replacement therapy has also been linked to some really bad things if you do it for longer than 5 years. I need to state
Oh,
that because I took it in school, learned it. So it's not, the grass is not greener on the other side.
yeah. No.
Obviously there's always a means for it. But don't
And there's a
go and purchase it
reason.
illegally and use it
Oh my God, go to your
over
doctor.
the amount
No,
that a
no,
physician.
no, don't do that. What? I didn't think of
I felt
that.
like I had to get that in there. Fuck.
Okay,
I don't know.
good. I didn't even
My bad.
realize that was a risk, but that's good for you to say. No, we're not saying that if you do this, it's gonna make it so much easier and all this stuff. I think honestly, what we're trying to say is give yourself a fucking break. Okay.
Yeah. Keep doing your
As you
shit. Keep
age and yeah, and even like
strength training,
yeah,
right?
strength train. Unless
Because I
you're
think
blood type. I mean, wait, unless you're A.
unless you're an A, then you should just do yoga and Pilates.
Okay, just for the record, I just have to
We
clarify.
like yoga and Pilates.
I'm I'm a yoga teacher. Never done yoga, never done Pilates, but I'm a yoga teacher. We're not hating on yoga and Pilates. It's that
At
like
all. We just thought it was hilarious to link a certain type of training to a blood.
type. Like what? No, I like to
I
lift
just
heavy
cannot
and
get
I'm
over that.
gonna lift heavy regardless of what my blood type is. Yeah, no,
Yeah, no, I mean, like,
that, like the how you age. And honestly, like Danielle said, yes, as you age as a woman, the best thing you can do for yourself, regardless of your fucking blood type, is lift heavy weight.
yeah, because higher muscle mass, higher metabolism. And I think a lot of people, when they get to that age in the past, because I do find that, I mean, strength training is great and huge, but it's not as huge as it should be. It's definitely not pushed by physicians. And when you get to that age, it's so important to keep that muscle mass. It's protecting so many things. And then it's also helping your metabolism, right?
Yeah.
And I think that when you get to that age and up, if you're not strength training, you're losing some muscle. So your metabolism is naturally getting slower. And that's where we're running into this weight gain too, right?
Yeah.
So I do think strength training, if you're not already doing it, can be a big helper.
100%. And specifically like to strength training, what, just to clarify in case anyone's listening and they're like, well, what's strength, like strength resistance training, lifting weights. Lifting weights, building your muscles is probably the best thing you can do as you age. And yeah, that's
it's also great for your bones, just saying.
Yeah, bone density, like all that stuff, like living pain-free, like all of that stuff is good as you age. Yeah. So what was I gonna say? I was just gonna say something about oh shoot, I lost it. Anyway,
dang,
aging is a big thing for hormones, but I guess I wanted to come back and just say, like, if it, at the end of the day, if you think something's wrong, if you think you're not losing weight because of something hormonal, please do not just go buy some online guru's plan and supplements. That is not the answer. Go to your doctor, get the tests done, figure out your actual hormone levels, where you might be lacking, if you're lacking, and then make the decision to progress from there.
Yeah.
Don't fall victim to these dumb fucking hormone hacks, gimmicks, and BS because some random person is trying to make a buck off of it. It's just a waste of your money.
Yeah. Baseline, get tested.
If you really think something's wrong, but let's be honest. And then, like, I'll go back to this again, just if more often than not, if it's something like high cortisol levels or something like that, the answer isn't adding something in. The answer is figuring out why you have high cortisol levels. Why do you have high, like, why are your hormones out of whack? Is it something that, like, is your endocrine system, like, is your pancreas not producing insulin like it should, like in a diabetic, right? Or are you maybe not sleeping and maybe drinking a lot and, doing other unsavory activities? That is the number one thing to consider. If you think something's off. And that's all I really have to say. Like you, like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's the base. That's the tea. That's the tea.
That was actually so, what's the word I'm looking
Helpful.
for? Helpful.
That was helpful for me when I turned 50.
I feel like I'm going through menopause now.
Jacqueline.
Did I say already that I've just switched my birth control? Did I already talk about that?
No.
Yeah,
What was before the episode? So you may as well hit that in real quick.
I've recently changed my birth control. And as you know, my birth control is a combination of estrogen and progesterone. And I was on a specific type of birth control with specific levels of estrogen and progesterone for 14 years of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And since moving to the US, I cannot no longer get that specific brand, and I've had to switch brands.
Nightmare.
And it's been so fun.
Wow. She's not okay.
So that's an instance where obviously like my hormone levels are different because I'm blatantly
taking hormones.
Popping hormone pills.
Yeah.
And
that's just it. It's like birth control, like, yeah, you're taking hormones.
Yeah. Anyway. So
that's that.
That's why I almost cried earlier. I mean, that's why I've cried every day for the last 6 weeks, but that's beside the point. All right, guys.
Her hormones.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. What are we talking about next week, Danielle?
We usually have this decided. I pulled up some of our suggestions from that post that we made.
I love it.
So we can pick one right now.
Okay, let's pick one right now as
live.
We've never done this before, for the record. We usually always discuss it before, but you're going to hear our discussions right now. Let's go.
Oh, there's so many. So the first one that came up, and I was like, well, we haven't really dabbled into, like, I guess, training. So we could go this way. Training and injuries, ? How do you work through them? Should you work through them? And modifications or substitutions.
Interesting. I kind of like that one.
Yeah. It's hard.
I guess we could go a little bit broader and say, like, how to... Well, go ahead.
Oh, yes. This will be a really good episode because then we can talk about progressions.
Okay.
And how you should not just like we can literally get into that.
Danielle's doing right now. Like how you shouldn't just see Danielle fucking flinging around a kettlebell and try to do that yourself because you'll probably injure yourself.
One of my friggin' friends
tried it and fucking hit herself in the head gave herself a concussion with a kettlebell, probably.
Basically. Yeah. He messaged me and he was like, wow, I just tried that and now my sciatic nerve is fucked. And I was like, well, you shouldn't have tried.
Disclaimer. Yeah, actually, okay, let's talk about training.
Yeah, we'll talk about training. Yeah. So we'll just touch on injuries and how they can basically happen if you're not doing progressions and blah, blah, blah. Love that.
Progression, how to train, we'll talk about strength training in particular, but also different types of training. Okay.
Oh, I'm excited about this for us.
I love it.
Yeah. Let's talk about this is like a real conversation that everyone is listening to right now about how we hype each other up on our fucking topics. We're like, yes.
Let's go.
I'm so fucking pumped. Okay, yeah. No, that's great. I'm glad we all did this together.
It's gonna be great. All right, guys.
All right. So thanks again so much for listening. Tune in next week. And thank you so much, Opulence Media Group. It's been a blast this evening.
See you next time.